Okay, this is what they call the golden hour. When the sun is setting and you get that nice look on your flowers. My poor way petunias, they don't like the heat. We've had some hot days. Some of them in cooler areas of the yard are doing really, really well. The others in the hotter areas I've had to move. The herbs are loving the warm weather. We've got herbs growing in pots. These are my granddaughters. I kind of look after them for her. These wave petunias are loving where they're at. And I think I may have over fertilized some of them. These red ones are in the shade and they seem to like where they're at. I think these are bluebells and they grow all over my garden. I wish they didn't. They're like a weed. They pop up everywhere. This is a rose my son got me and it's called Never Alone. And he got me this last year. And I love that it's twining itself around that stand that's kind of antique-y looking. These were fussy flowers in the past. I had trouble growing them. Now I just leave them alone. And they're pretty tall. And this little gal, she's my gardening partner. She basically doesn't do much. She's a Sheba. We call her the Queen of Sheba. Hey, Lex. Anyhow, she'll probably just sit there as I wander around the yard. These are my zucchini plants. Can you believe it? Look at them. I've never been able to grow them before. I'm just amazed. And we've been eating zucchini and everything. And so what I've done with these zucchini is in the bottom layer of these containers I'm growing them in, I've got compost. And then what I did in the spring is I layered quite a bit of topsoil on top of it and kind of mixed it a bit. And the zucchinis are just loving it. So what will happen with these barrels is the dirt from them will go in the garden, that little garden. And then I will put compost in this all winter and then put dirt on top of it come spring. And put my zucchinis in there. That way they're always having fresh, nutrient-rich soil. Here's one that was a volunteer. Came on its own. I know, I need to weed, but that's life. And look at these tomatoes. They don't even need a greenhouse. I decided this year if you can't grow outside, you can't grow. This is my wheat garden. It's very small. But it's producing. I've got potatoes, tomatoes, and beans. Very simple garden this year. I'm absolutely excited about these. These are my dahlias. I've never been able to grow them before. They're growing in my greenhouse, believe it or not. And they're growing in pots. And look at them. They're just amazing. I'll put my hand up against one. You'll see how big they are. They're huge. Yeah, pretty cool. Here's one that's a slightly darker color. It's further back in the greenhouse. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Look at it. And there's another one coming right beside it. And then look at these. These are way taller than me. I'm 5 foot nothing. And these are way up there. You can see them. They're dark, dark, dark purple. They're absolutely beautiful. I'm trying to get a better picture of them. They're just gorgeous. Now I'm standing underneath it and I'm holding the phone up about 2 feet above my head. That's how tall these dahlias are. They are being moved out of the greenhouse. And I think what I'll do is save the bulbs for next year. They're absolutely gorgeous. These are my Roma tomatoes, and they're really good for spaghetti sauce because they don't have a lot of moisture. If you see anything white on top, they were getting white dots on the leaves, and I did some reading, and it said because the soil was lacking in calcium. So I have all these calcium pills that I can't take because I build kidney stones, so the kidney doctor doesn't want me to take them. And so what I did is I ground up all of those calcium pills, and every week I'll come in and give these guys their vitamins. Imagine giving your tomatoes vitamins. These are my cherries, and this tree was absolutely loaded with blossoms in the spring, and we had a cold spring, and I think it affected them. So I only have a few. What I'll do is I'll probably pick them, maybe do a cherry tart. That's about all I have. And this cherry tree here is usually loaded, but it has like maybe 3 cherries on it this year. So spring next year, it's too late now to fertilize them, but spring next year I'll put some fertilizer in and see. Now this little cherry tree looks dead, but it's not. I moved it in the fall last year and I thought, oh well, it'll probably die, but it didn't. These are my lilies, and they come up every year, and they've always been this color. They come up in the same spot every year. They're absolutely beautiful. This is called Russian sage, and it smells really, really good. It's quite potent. And sometimes I give it to my sister for her dried flower arrangements in the fall once it's all dried. I used to think this was hollyhock, but I don't think it is. I think it's mallow, something mallow. And you've got to love that golden hour light. It's just absolutely gorgeous. These come up every year without fail. They will spread if I let them, but I don't really want them to take over the whole garden. And they'll stay flowering till fall. And they basically line the one bit of my fence. And you can see this really pretty one. You can see the evening sun on it. It changes when the wind takes it. Here's some more lilies. And they come up every year. This patch is getting bigger. I just let it grow and it does its thing. And yeah, it doesn't smell. It has no smell. These lilies don't smell, so I could cut them and take them indoors, but I prefer to enjoy them outdoors. There's those bluebells. I pull them and pull them and pull them, and they come up all over the yard. I don't know if they're actually bluebells. I'll have to do a plant identification. I have yarrow growing in my yard. I pull it most of the time. This little patch I kind of just leave it. And these are my asparagus. I've let them go to seed. And again, they're taller than me, and I'm 5 foot nothing. This is more zucchini. Yep. This year is bounded determined to grow zucchini. I'm going to have lots of zucchini. Here's another one. Not doing as good as the ones in the back, so I think I need to practice that composting thing for these ones as well as the ones at the back. Yep. Here's another zucchini. I think we've eaten 2 zucchinis off this little zucchini plant. It's pretty big. This is my butternut squash plant. Look at it. My fence is about 4.5 feet tall, and that's how high that squash, it's a butternut squash plant. And I was getting discouraged because I thought, well, I'm growing this beautiful tiny plant and it's gorgeous. And I thought, but it's not producing anything. Look at that. Just wait, I want to try and get a good picture of it. Do you see it? Do you see that little plant right there? I'm trying to get the camera to focus on it. There it is. The very first butternut squash. If that's the only one I get, we're going to enjoy it come fall. I'm hoping I get more than that, though. Isn't that gorgeous? Came out and I looked and I thought, I've got one. So these are the star of the show. They're my tomato plants. I forget the name of them. I think I've told you in a different video. But look at them. They're taller than me again. And look, they're ripening. We've already eaten about 4 off of these plants. But look at that. That is totally amazing. And it's loaded. Like, look at that. Look at that big one. My son, who doesn't like tomatoes, actually enjoys these ones. But look at them. Every day I come out, this one got kind of battered up, but it'll still taste good. And then there's some growing down inside. Again, I put calcium on my tomato plants and in the soil because they need calcium. And there's another one hiding back in there. And guess what? I ordered 20 pounds of tomatoes from the local farmer's market. I'm going to be busy canning this fall. Let me know if you want me to take you on a canning trip when I'm doing my canning. Look at that. That's amazing. I'm just like totally amazed. And there's some more in there. Look at that. Look at that. These tomatoes turn brown at the top and a really deep burgundy on the inside, and they taste amazing. You won't want to eat store-bought tomatoes if you eat one of these. Yeah, look at that. That one's starting to ripen as well. There's a little story behind this plant and this plant here. They were growing in my compost and it looked like cantaloupe seeds. I don't know if they are or not, couldn't tell you. Might be a squash seed, but I don't know. Could be a funny looking zucchini, who knows. We'll know in the fall if it produces anything. They kind of got planted in the soil a little bit later than usual. These are my cucumbers growing in the front of my house. It faces south. They love it. These seeds were 10 years old. And my son had dug them up out of his seeds. And he said, Mom, here, grow some cucumbers. And I said, but the seeds are 10 years old. They probably won't produce. But they are. So you know what I do with them? Is when I cook corn or I cook any vegetables, I save the juice and I water my cucumbers with it. And yes, I think they got a little bit of the calcium on them too, because I just sprinkle it on their leaves. So if you look close inside there, you can see a teeny little bloom. We'll see if it produces anything. I have lots of bees. Very upset at my neighbors. They used a ton of herbicide on their lawn. You could smell it. I actually had to close my windows. And it upsets me because I don't want anything to happen to the bees. We need bees. We need bees to pollinate our food. I don't use any fertilizer or anything on my lawns. It just grows naturally. Yeah, there's some more. And you can see by my lawn that it's doing just fine. I don't fertilize it, and I use a mulching mower, so I don't bag the grass. And I happen to think clover is good, because clover, it does well when it's dry. So I don't bother doing anything. And that little fellow in the background there, Massey, Massey, Massers, Mass. He's a cat. He's not going to answer. There's a story about Massey, which I'll share someday. It's not funny, but it is. Yeah. He's 13 years old, and he doesn't think he is. He thinks he's still only around 3, and he likes to fight. So one day, I'll tell you his story. And it's a saga. And it goes on for years. And he's now my $3,000 cat. Nah, I'll tell you the story after. Anyhow, I'm going to go to a different part of the yard and finish up this video. There's my little girl. She moved. She's such a sweet little thing. She looks really bad right now. She's a Shiba, and they usually have 3 or 4 coats. I don't know how many. And right now she's shedding her winter coat, which, you know, will be done shedding just in time to get the winter coat, which then takes us through the summer coat shedding. So, yeah, there's tufts of fur everywhere. But I love my animals. I wouldn't trade them for nothing. Here's my geranium. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it's a Martha Washington or what, but I wintered it. And when you bring plants in from the outside to winter them, they come with friends. Little black fruit flies. But I did find some stuff that I can use on them before I bring them in. And I kid you not, I had an infestation of fruit flies. But I have propagated this one. I put some in water. Was it this one? No, maybe it was the pink one. I propagated them, and they're growing roots, and they're growing inside right now. So I will probably bring this one in. I'm hoping to wait until maybe we get a little bit of a frost, maybe put it in the greenhouse, and then I'll use the stuff to get rid of the fruit flies and then bring it in. We barbecued tonight. My little Sheba's near the barbecue. She can smell good stuff. Look at how scruffy she looks. Hey, Lexi. What do you think? Nothing good to eat, hey? Lexa, you're so cute. Here's Massey, who thinks he's only 3. He's actually 13. He takes medication every night. Massers. And he actually doesn't mind his picture being taken. Oh, here comes Lexi. Oh, she's leaving. Look at that. That's all fur that I have to brush off her, and she hates being brushed. Yeah. And this guy I don't have to brush. I like short-haired cats. Anyhow, he's leaving. She's going to go to the backyard. I try to catch her running, but she always knows when the camera's out and she quits. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Are you going to run? No. She knows the camera's out. I'm going to get you, Lexa. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. She doesn't like me petting her when she's in the yard. I'm going to get you. Oh, watch. Now she's making a liar of me. Are you a brat? Oh. Come here. Lex, come here. Nope. Well, it looks like that little one, she's not going to run tonight. She's in the spot that she loves. It's nice and cool. So on that note, I'm going to sign off. This is 20 minutes long. Ooh, it's getting long. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the tour of my garden. And that black fence is just to keep the cat out of the garden. Yeah. Anyhow, and he's pretty good. He won't go in there. He has places he knows he can go. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.